As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullah. Where were you last night? Eid party, okay.
Astaghfirullah, say I was home Sayyidi, I was watching alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
I was watching
What we
cricket
got?
Sayyidi. Sayyidi, this question from the teachings from the last night. Allah forbids us from going to their mosques. How should we apply this command regarding visiting the homes of relatives who share the same beliefs?
Yeah, familiar ties is different. It's a different concept, right? This discussion of the mosque and masjid, it was maybe 5 weeks into this where we describe what is this, what is the kalam of masjid. Then what are the real houses of Allah, the heart of people, not the buildings, because buildings in last days are going to be destroyed. That shouldn't destroy your faith. Then it went deeper and deeper where Allah says, abadan, never go into those structures whom their only purpose was made to deviate people, which is that belief system coming out of that region. That they sold the religion. Look what happened now on to the people. Nobody came to their help, they sold the religion, they gave more for a football than they did for feeding people. Those people are the ones paying everybody to make these masjids. So they're not Muslim, those big guys behind them, they have no interest in Islam. Now a relative is something different. The masjid is designed to take your faith away, put a imam in there from probably the same belief system, because if he's Ahl Sunnah, true Ahl Sunnah and stand up for respect and talk nice, they throw him out in 2 days. So most likely they put the imam that's going to deviate somebody from belief, because you're going for your belief, it's different. If you're going to your uncle's for lunch, you're not going there for belief. Whatever your uncle says you close your ears, it doesn't matter, I didn't go there for belief, I went there for kebab. It's different, you have your guard up, you understand, okay the uncles are crazy and we sit here and they say what they want and I got my food and I go. But when you go with an open heart that I'm going to… As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans, Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream, every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To learn my deen, and you come back home with a different deen, a different belief, one based on disrespect, then you know that your heart has been heart-washed and you've been brainwashed. And then you say, Shaykh, what's the MO, what's the motive? Because for a crime to occur there has to be a motive. And we said the motive is to take your key away. If they take your key away you have no power, no hawla, no quwwah. Because Allah's hawla and quwwah, help and power comes to you because we said the key was what? You love Prophet. Allah sends help, say help him, give him power. He has love for Prophet, love for my beloved Nabi Ahmad. But imagine the person is being taught not to and being taught to be disrespected to. Why Allah to send power? There's so many people to send power to, why would you send to the one whom has no respect and being taught to have disrespect? So no, it's common sense. So the place of worship is you're going with an open heart to learn something. Relatives, you're just going for a meal and everything else, and we have different talks on that. That's a chess game. When you're going to a relative's house, you trained yourself not to talk and to be a nukht. Just stay quiet. Whatever they say, you know the auntie who's going to bother you, that you have a beard, oh you have a turban, you have like this, you know the same characters, they don't change. So there's every time they ask, every time you answer, every time you fight. So which one is crazy? You know the definition of crazy is you do the same thing every time and you expect a different result. So we want to graduate from crazy and become insan. Insan is sharp like a chess game. He knows what uncle gonna say and what auntie's going to say, and he stays quiet. He eats, puts something in his mouth when they start to talk and say, oh, I have food in my mouth, can't answer. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
How does cowardice affect one's spiritual journey and growth?
Cowardice? You don't want to do anything because you're a coward. It's self-explanatory that you don't want to take a chance, you don't want to take an effort. You're more worried about other people than yourself, than Allah and than Prophet. So cowardice is the concept of being a coward. That no, people are not going to like I like this, if I dress like this, and if I tell people I'm like this. What are you cowarding from? They pay you or Allah pays you? Do they give you something in this world or Allah is giving to you? So it goes much deeper. When you try to understand your cowardice, when you go back and you meditate, why? Are they really going to slap me because I decided to grow my beard? No. But maybe you're worried maybe you won't be as popular. If you feel that there's going to be truly physical harm, then no, don't do it. That's not something that you have to accomplish at that time. But the root of cowardice is that we're always trying to compromise with people around us, but you realize that nobody compromises for you. 100 times they say, oh do you mind if I like drink at the table? Yeah, of course I mind. Why do you have to drink at the table? What's wrong with you? You're alcoholic that as soon as you come on this table you have to drink? So many people email that they have these mixed family gatherings, but for those people they say, you should compromise and allow us to drink. Well, so then next time we'll have our dinner in a masjid, do you mind? They would never do that with you, they would never compromise to come to do those things. So it's about a life in which we have to always compromise, and before you know you compromise who you are. People should be able, if they're good for you, to meet you on common grounds. Yeah, you don't do that, I don't do that, let's do like this. And their whole lives are like that, and your dress not offensive, your belief is not offensive, your acts of worship, you want to pray and other people are around, pray in your chair. You're allowed to pray sitting. So everything can be accomplished with a hikmah and a wisdom in which we don't have to compromise ourselves and say, no, I just won't do any of my stuff because people are not going to like it. I don't think people are truly going to mind it. But the fear of maybe not being as popular, not being as liked, those are things that people have to meditate and look into their own heart that, why am I not going to take that act? Why I don't grow my beard? Oh, people are going to think I'm like, oh, why? Everyone has a beard, all the hockey players are wearing beards. Only when it became popular everybody said, okay now I can wear my beard. Well, why? What was the danger of it? And anytime we struggle in Allah's way, Allah's granting an immense reward. So alhamdulillah there's a hikmah and a wisdom in following the sunnah, following the way, and immense reward from Allah, from Prophet. We just have to overcome the fear and then meditate on, why am I scared? Is it really physical something going to happen? Then don't, because nobody has to be put into a physical danger or difficulty. Or is it just something mentally that I think people will stare at me? Who cares people stare at you? But what's going to happen by that, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, the station of hearing is very difficult to achieve. What are the implications of failing to achieve within one's spiritual life?
What's the implications of failing to achieve the state of hearing?
Naam, Sayyidi.
That you don't hear. That to not hear our consciousness, then we truly didn't ever hear what Allah wanted for us. That's why the first station is hearing. That's why we're the nation of Sami'na wa ata'na, we heard and we obeyed. If your life is not to fight to open the hearing, then what is it that we're following? I can't hear Allah's command, I can't hear what Prophet wants from me, and I can't hear myself. So before any opening I have to be able to hear. So that's going to be my biggest struggle. Did I hear the message? Yeah. Did I hear my consciousness? Yes. When your consciousness tells you something, you have to do it right away. If your consciousness tells you to donate, donate right away. Not, I plan to do this, because tomorrow shaitan will fool you again and say, no you don't have it, you can't do it, don't do it. If your consciousness tells you, I have to pray like 10 rakahs, I have to go do my awrad, I have to read my Dar al-Khairat, and you tell yourself, no later, shaitan played with you now and broke it. So at what point are you going to listen and act on what you heard? Because your shaitan tells you, no, don't do it now, because at least give me a few weeks to work on you to change your mind. And he will not stop to block you from that good deed. Allah's way is they heard and they followed. If they can hear their conscious and act upon it when it's something beatific and correct, then they're fighting their nafs, fighting the bad desires. They become like rijal. But if every time they hear and postpone and then debate and think about it in their mind, it's not but a few days and shaitan will have changed you and convinced you of something different. So this is a great battle to hear what's being inspired. The heart is telling you something and actions that you're to do, you do them without postponing. So these are the realities of opening the hearing, otherwise the next thing that come to you, you postpone that too. And then the next comes in inspiration. We say even they hear the talk and they start to put it in their head, no it wasn't about me, and it wasn't really like that, shaykh meant like this. So then we see, understand, oh okay, this is how the shaitans play. So the talk has to come to the heart, we write it down, say I'm going to try my best to make sure this happens, I'm start to do this, I'm going to live by this. And we see how difficult that really is. That's the way it is. And then you get to know yourself. Who knows himself, he'll know his Lord. Not the Lord Most High, because we didn't reach there, but we'll meet the Lord who's blocking us. I said somebody liked chocolate, as soon as I said, oh have some chocolate, he said, why you tell me always to have chocolate, I don't want chocolate. I said, but I thought you like chocolate. But as soon as we said have chocolate, it became again a rebellion, no don't tell me to have chocolate. So then you can see how shaitan is playing with people. Just a simple act of do this, you can do it. Yeah, you're going to fight yourself all the time not to do it. Who's telling you not to do it? The shaykh told you do that. So then shaitan is telling you don't do it. Okay, so now you understand you're playing with shaitan. That's why hearing is the first step. Can you see if your ears are not submitted? No. This has to have unlocked, that you hear your consciousness, you hear what's being commanded. How you can have vision when you're not hearing? How? It's called illusions. Shaitan comes and gives people illusions and delusions, wakeful and sleeping most, because anything can come in sleep. They give you a whole movie from Paramount Pictures in your head. And that's all delusional. So it means how somebody can see if they're not hearing? That's why it's samina wa ata'na. When hearing opened and the veil of hearing opens, they heard their consciousness, they obeyed their consciousness, they heard the shaykhs and inspirations, and they lived their life to fulfill those, regardless of its popularity, regardless if everyone agrees, regardless if it's something that's profitable, like whatever it is, doesn't matter, whatever category it is, they're the people who hear and do. And other people follow and say, well, this doesn't make any sense. Not to you. And as a result of that, then Allah begins to make them Ahlul Basira. But people come in these last days is hearing whatever they want of whispers and the whisperings of shaitan telling them all sorts of crazy things with no good character and nothing. And then pretending that they see this and that and delusions and illusions, and they're all over the place like a bad sci-fi movie. So that's an immense danger. We saw that in the Bird Box, right? Where the people, the psycho people, they enjoyed the unveiling of devils so much, where they would just go crazy seeing things. This is what's happening in these dark days. So that's why it has an extreme amount of discipline, that they follow strong, they meditate, contemplate, strong connection to the shaykh, and the mannerisms match. They don't talk a lot, they are very quiet people. They're zuhud, they're in a state of knowing themselves. Somebody just come off the bat 2 weeks into it talking, something's wrong. So and they're attracted to the spiritual path because they can start to use a bit of that insanity within the tariqah. I said this, I saw that, I did this, they talk this, they talk that, and other people follow them and start saying, wow, yeah, woo. And then before you know it, one crazy person got 3 crazy murids following him. Yeah, so the 35 years we've seen it all. But everything matches character. So the character of pious people is exactly that, they're very quiet, very hidden. They have a lot of fear and consciousness that they don't want to upset Allah, they don't want to upset Prophet, and they keep a very low profile and continuously meditating, contemplating to reach to their connection, inshaAllah.
As-salaamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salaam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, how can living through the times of Dajjals help a believer grow and purify their heart spiritually?
How can living through the times of Dajjal benefit the believer? Because that hasn't even begun yet. So when the immense fitna of Dajjal comes, there's no way to survive without this system. And that's why 6 out of 7 people will be gone from this earth. And that doesn't happen overnight, that's going to be a tremendous phase of suffering and difficulty. So ask yourself, from everything that you learned about these teachings, could you survive without that? Can you survive without meditating and contemplating and connecting to a higher power and feeling the connection, feeling you're okay, feeling you're connected, feeling that Allah loves you, Prophet is near you? And if you don't have that connection, how do you possibly defend yourself against this immense and horrific fitna? Do you find a place to read a book and sit down and do what? No. Anybody who's become logical will understand that without this spiritual connection and energy and zikr, this whole practice and understanding of realities, then there is no way. And this is all just a preparation for immense difficult and dark times. So we have to be connected to an alternative power source. If the power of this dunya is about to collapse, you have to be connected to an alternative power source more powerful than this dunya. So when you have a backup generator, what's the purpose of that? So that you have power when the power goes off. But if dunya is about to collapse their power, you have to be connected. So how to connect? That's the whole system. So, oh just connect to Allah, that's not going to work. There's a whole system. There has to be a connection to the love of Prophet to receive those energies, that light, that guidance, that immense reality. So this is a system being implemented very quickly upon the earth so that to protect people, whomever Allah is guiding. It's going to be a dark night and there's going to be a few stars that can guide people through the oppression of this darkness that's coming upon the earth. So ask yourself the other way, how do you survive the Dajjalic times? With what? With anything physical? Or how would anything physical help you? By reading a lot of the fiqh books? How would that help you from the fitna of Dajjal? Means only safety now is in spiritual because they're about to cut the lights. So you need an energy source and you need to connect to the heavens. So who does that? Who can train for that? Then these are the purposes of the tariqahs in the last day. Now is not so much the time for the external, because what are people going to do with the external shaykh? Teaching how to bite a date. How's that going to help you? When they start throwing things on your head, you have to go like this. That's it, that's what we're going to give to the people when we're preparing for Dajjal. So because external they don't really have anything to talk about. So then they start just to repeat these courses over and over and over. They become pretty much irrelevant. When this system of satanic attacks is coming out, why aren't they speaking about how to prepare? What's the key against the attack and what's being attacked now? Why don't they talk about if it's 3 fingers like this to eat or if the 4th finger is not allowed? The whole video. And that if you take the date then you can't put your mouth, because then if you touch the date again then your hand was on your mouth and you put… it's like, this going to help people? So something's wrong, somebody doesn't know what time it is and what's about to happen. And prepare the people, that's when we said the shaitan is coming 6 directions. Well who's talking about these 6 directions? The tariqahs have to talk, because they're the ones inspired, they're the ones who understand. They have an answer for everything. If shaitan is going to attack with fashion, then make the sunnah fashionable, that the sunnahs are fashion, and attack shaitanic fashion. If the shaitan is going to attack with his knowledges and you came from aliens and the aliens are your gods, and no, we're going to teach, no, actually the aliens are all jinn, and these are the jinn from Qur'an, this is the jinn from Prophet's teachings. So they're fighting on 6 directions with these shayateen to prepare people for what's coming onto this earth, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, the modern world seems to be switching roles and responsibilities of husband and wife and making it popular. If a family is not countering this within their homes, is it a sign of being cowardice without realizing it?
Cowardice that you're scared of your spouse? But the reversal of the role is to take the blessings of Allah out. So we said that the family has to understand the whole binary system. So if the women are nukht and they're trained to be nothing, this is the role that Allah has given to them. And when they have the secret of that nukht, they bring life and creation into this world, and they empower the one they're with, because they make the one they're with to feel good and special. That way that one can be the imam and to guide the family. And we described that in the subject of the shawwal and the nukht and marriages and all of that. I think Mahdi posted those videos recently. So that's a deep reality. If you go into the masjid, it's the only masjid you have, your life depends upon it, and you attack the imam every day, what happens? He's now psychologically and physically not willing to be the imam anymore. He recites, you attack him, he talks, you attack him. You took away his authority, he pretty much will basically say, then I'm not going to be the imam anymore. Then everybody just pray on your own, so there won't be any more imam, there's no more guidance. That was shaitan wanting that. So what, the lady section going to now come up to the front and lead? No. So now the house has no imam, the children have no imam. Because the house is the first masjid of Allah, not the masjid down the street. Your own home has to be a masjid for Allah. So you come against Allah's system. When you do that, no barakah, and basically shaitan is running that facility, shaitan is running that house. So then you can see all the fitna that carrying through everything, and you'll see the fitna in the children and every product that's being developed. So that's a deep fitna. And that Harut and Marut, the 2 angels upside down, what Allah described of the magic that they bring onto this earth was to make fitna within families. Why? So that to make everything a disaster. So this is a big fitna. But if people understand the truth and the reality of submission, submission is power. So the nukht, it can empower the one by being nothing, and the barakah and the blessings come into the environment and everything begins to happen miraculously. So these are a deep reality and people should recognize them and understand how shaitan is attacking and fighting and destroying. And it leads to nothing good. But Allah inshaAllah guide and to help people inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, is the voice of the consciousness our own voice or the shaykh's voice?
Own voice. That you have to hear yourself. How could you hear the shaykh when you don't hear yourself? So it means we sit and meditate with the presence of the shaykh in front of us, so that to filter the negativity, and that the connection to the shaykh, that you're in front of me, that send your light into my heart and send your faiz into my heart, and they build their connection, get the meditation book, learn how to make the connection. When that connection is very strong, then they begin to ask the connection that, dress me from your presence and dress me from your lights, and every day they're connecting, feeling the connection, they do their zikr, their awrad, all the practices with that connection, they pray with that connection, everything. As a result they begin to become inspired, they hear a clear voice of themselves of what they should be doing for their ibadah. Not what they should be doing for other people, oh let me go tell this person these things I think they're doing wrong. That's from shaitan. Oh I'm going to go tell them this, I'm being inspired, they're doing this wrong, he's doing this wrong, they start working on other people. That's from shaitan playing with somebody who's trying to meditate. This consciousness, when they hear their shaykh is speaking through their own consciousness, is they have to do better, they have to take their hisab, they shouldn't have talked, they shouldn't have made this person upset, they shouldn't have done this, they should have prayed more, they should have hidden their prayers, they should have hidden their hal and their state, all of those. So it's all based on worshipness. They should have given when they thought they're going to give, they should have done all these acts, they should have given more food, they should have done this, they should have gone there. Everything in relationship to their ibadah and their worshipness, and never dealing with other people, never giving a recommendation to people, never giving a, oh I'm being told that you're like this. That's all the satanic whispers, that people start to interfere with other people's lives thinking they have a connection, but that's full on satanic attack, because shaitan is sitting there, oh this person's whispering, tell him about what this guy is doing, because shaitan knows the secrets of what people are doing. And they begin to go out and say stuff that may be secret or hidden. Why? Because shaitan wants to disrupt everything and make confusion, because shaykhs don't talk like that, shaykh don't come back and tell you your secret life to everybody. So why shaitan is doing that is to make this person to be a big fitna and to cause a great confusion amongst people, but that is completely from shaitan. So that's why it's not recognized, it's not given anything, that's just satanic. But when they hear themselves, it's based on ibadah, worshipness and good character, things that are hard against the self. I gotta do what? Yeah, do it right now. No, I'll do it later, right now. And they listen, even if they put themselves into difficulties, inshaAllah.
Sayyidi, you've spoken about this before, but it seems we're getting a lot of messages regarding this topic. As-salamu alaykum Shaykh.
Walaikum salam.
What might be the reasons for our rizq being constrained, and how do we increase our zeal?
Yeah, when we go to the second month and Google on our Nur Muhammad website Surat Al-Kahf, that's the whole tariqah describes about Sayyidina Khidr and Nabi Musa. So rizq is a great control. Have you seen the donkey and the carrot? How you get the donkey to go somewhere? They put a stick and they put a carrot on it, right? And they put it on the saddle so the donkey thinks he is getting the carrot, so he keeps walking. If you give him the carrot, he's going to stop and he's just going to sit there and eat it. Well then what do you think then Allah has for us? If we give them everything, you think he's going to sit and listen to you now? So no, he's just going to take his rizq and run. So the secret of rizq is a deep secret. The rizq that comes, it has to be in the way of Allah. So as we chasing it means Allah's directing us into a direction that do this, follow this, do your awrad, do your zikrs, have good character. The bad character can destroy everything, all rizq. So these are the importances of life. So when people find, oh everything's slow, they're emailing. Exactly, because now the carrot and the stick is right there. Allah's got your attention, He knows only by this issue you're going to email these people, but Allah's more interested in your soul than in the carrot. Means get your soul fixed, get your reality fixed. And when your reality is fixed and strong and your character is good and it's pure and it's clean, then you know that rizq that came is not yours. Because you understand this is all owned by Allah, owned by Prophet and owned by the ulul am, you're merely a custodian, right? Take what is your share, the rest you owe it back. And that's why we said it's a amanat, it's a trust, it was entrusted to you, it's not yours. But you wouldn't know that from day one, you won't know it even from day two, you'll only know it through immense amounts of testing. That you understand it's from their hands. So amanat and trust is that Allah says, we gave this and entrusted it to you, return the amanat. Take what is your share and give back what has been entrusted to you. And this is what Islam means, taslim, submit. Our life is like that. We came into this life, we're not taking even a kafan back. So the servants of Allah they understood that, they took their life and fed and everything, and the rest in what Allah wanted and Prophet wanted. And in the end you don't take anything with you. Even they give you the kafan to wrap yourself and you hope that you die in a situation where they actually will wrap you. So this is a big step in understanding our realities, because people they worship their rizq. Then you say, okay I want to change myself shaykh, I want to improve myself, then there's the talks on write the knowledges. Day one, the minute you write one part of their talk, your whole life's destiny will change now. Because the angels were writing only good and bad, good and bad, good and bad all day long for you. Did any of the angels ever write a Muhammadan haqqaiq on your book? So as soon as you tuned in, the shaykh said, go get a pen and a paper to change your rizq, change your kitab, change your entire destiny. So as soon as you're now writing Muhammadan haqqaiqs, new angels have to come, because the angel who's writing is not from that reality. Because now the angels are saying, no this person is now documenting the haqqaiqs of Sayyidina Muhammad. There's going to be even a change of the angels who begin to document your reality, because now you're walking with the realities of Prophet upon this earth. And that's the true meaning of kiram al-katibin. Kiram, they're honoured because they're documenting Muhammadan haqqaiqs, because every action is in the ocean of Muhammadan Rasulullah. What about then the one whom documenting zikrs and haqqaiqs and realities? Everything now will change on their book, on their soul. If the soul's reality changed, then no doubt all of their physical reality will begin to change. So that's what it's meant in the nasheed, where we recite just with their word they can change the destiny of people, because they're speaking from the worlds of malakut and the world of light. If you document the realities of the world of light, they change entirely the person's reality and make it completely different dress upon their soul, inshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa bi siri Surat al-Fatiha. Ya Rasul Kareem, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. InshaAllah Jummah Mubarak to everyone, alhamdulillah, and all the immense support, immense well wishings, Eid everybody sent, Eid Mubarak, Eid gifts, everything. Allah dress everyone, bless everyone. We tried our best to reply to everybody through all the different mediums. If we didn't, then we apologize. Allah dress everyone, bless you, your families, loved ones, community, everyone inshaAllah, for the sake of Allah, the sake of Sayyidina Muhammad, and may Allah raise us under the feet and the banner of Muhammadun Rasulullah bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa bi Surat al-Fatiha.
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.